Do you understand why you don't feel God's love? The reason you don't feel God's love is because you don't do what he tells you to do. Not only do you not do what he tells you to do, but you don't listen to him. You don't study your word on a daily basis. You don't obey his commandments. You don't listen to God truly. There's a difference between hearing, right, and comprehension. In school, when we read, right, we're kind of doing a cold read, right? Especially something that's new to us. We read over a book. We, try to see straightforward what the book says. Let's see what happens. But then when you read it a second time, that's where that comprehension comes in, right? Breaking down the passage, right? Actually learning and gaining knowledge and wisdom. It is the same thing with God, if not way more important. In the Bible, when it talks about how the Lord his plans aren't to hurt you, right? But to basically to push you upwards, to motivate you, to push you towards your goals and towards your success. When the Bible talks about, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Right? There's a reason why he tells you to do that. Because if you can obey your parents and love your parents, you can love God. Right? God loved us. Look at God as a parent. God loved us. He gave his son for you so that you may have an opportunity, so that you may have a chance, right, to live with God up in heaven one day. There is a reason why you love God, right? There's a reason why love isn't just thrown around, why there are different definitions of love, right? I'm only tell you one, and that's agape, right? We think of the word love and we look at the relationship side of things, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, weddings, wedding cakes, whatever the case may be. But there is a way that you love God. The Bible talks about how you love God with all your heart, soul, right? You praise God. Praising God is a example of love. That is a true action of love towards God. Praising him, loving him with all your heart, mind, soul, spirit. Everything, give everything you have to God. The Bible also talks about giving of your full self to God, not giving of your leftovers to God, to give your full self to God. Also, the Bible talks about how love is patient, love is kind. But the Bible also talks about in 1 John chapter 4, verse 16, that God is love. That those who abide in God abide in love, because God is love. And those who abide in love abide in God. Vice versa. Love is looked at on a stretch, right? Think of a pencil, right? My bad, not even a pencil. Think of maybe a piece of yarn, right? And you kind of stretch it, you try to bend it, right? And it's very elastic. It's very stretchy, right? And it can take a lot for it to break. Think about how, do you love people with that same kind of breakdown, right? Is your love long-suffering? Is your love true? Do your actions reflect love? But not only that, does your love reflect God's love for you? That's the way you need to love people. Love yourself. But that's the way you should be loving God. But see, God already loves you like that. But you need to learn to recognize this. God has already blessed you with so many different things. God has loved us before we were even born. He has loved us before everything has started. And what you need to learn to realize is love is an action word. So the way you live should reflect love. The decisions you make should reflect love. The things you do should reflect love. The businesses, the people you deal with, and everything you do should reflect God's love. I never forget, this person came up to me and basically told me that they saw the love based on my interactions. Mind you, she's a coworker at my job. Shout out to her. But she wanted to talk to me, and she told me, like, look, I can see like the love you have for people and the godly spirit you have in yourself, the love that you show people, even people you don't know, the patience you have for people, the kindness you have in your heart. Like, her coming up to me and telling me that even opened my eyes to the fact that you don't even have to say a word to be an example of Christ. You don't have to even do anything. It's just by how you walk, how you move, right? Love can come from different sources. You don't have to just talk, right? That's why I've done less talking. I encourage you, do less talking, do more doing, right? People love actions. People love doings, right? People love that. I'm telling you, you can really tell a person by what they do. Not necessarily what they say, what they speak, not even their knowledge, just by what they do. But you know why you probably don't feel God's love? It's because you're allowing Satan to take over, and Satan is clouding you. And then you're going through that battle with Satan, and you're allowing Satan to win, because Satan is going to cloud your judgment. Satan is going to tell you that God doesn't love you because you may be going through a storm by yourself. You may feel like you're by yourself, one. Number two, you may feel like you're in a place of loneliness, and that's where Satan also starts to cloud you again. And then when you continuously allow Satan to confuse you and to trick you, then you don't know what to believe. You need to stop allowing not only Satan, but yourself. Because a lot of times I've talked about this in a plethora of videos, how you you blame Satan. You blame Satan. But at the end of the day, these are your thoughts, right? Don't let the world trick you. These are your thoughts. These are your feelings. These are your decisions. At the end of the day, you get to choose. God gave us free will. You get to choose how you want to live. You get to choose these things. And see, everything you do should be a reflection of how Christ wants you to live, how Christ wants you to love. The people you put yourself around, that's important. You get to make those decisions, because those decisions impact your life. The people you surround yourself with impact your life. The decisions you make impact the people around you, believe it or not. The things you choose to do impact. Whether it's negative, whether it's positive or negative. But see, you got to get to the point where loving God is natural. Loving God is a daily thing. Loving God is a moment-to-moment thing. But most importantly, that it's an always thing. You can't do this alone. You can't fight this fight alone. David didn't fight alone. David had God by his side. When he fought Goliath, and only had a slingshot and 3 stones, he wasn't alone. God was with him. Even the ones that doubted him, he was not alone. Even though they had a small army, right? They didn't really have an army, but they had a small group. Nobody believed that David was going to take out Goliath. Nobody believed that. But God did. God did. Because God loved him, and David was strong with God. Same thing with Job. Job went through what he went through when he was seen as one of the, I forgot how the Bible described him, as like great, amazing in the eyes of the Lord. But guess what? The Lord allowed Satan to test him. And Job started losing things, started going through temptations, started going through trials, tribulations. And then guess what? Job still trusted God. You got to get to the point where trusting God, regardless of your situation, just comes. Easier said than done, because it takes time. Because we're going to experience different losses and different situations where we're taking L's repeatedly. And then it doesn't feel like there's a way out. But see, that's that faith. That's that love I was talking about. Faith is the biggest thing that will encourage you to love. Your belief and your faith and your trust is what will turn into love. I hope you learned something from this video. If you didn't learn anything else from this video, I want to let you know God never stopped loving you, regardless of the things you've done. And so if you don't feel God's love, I encourage you to read his word. I encourage you to study. I encourage you to pray, to meditate. Not only on this video, but in your daily walk. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, God bless.